If you're in business, one of the best assets you can have is an email list because that's something you can control. You don't control your followers on social media. The folks who give you permission to send them email are saying, yes, I want to hear more from you. I hope that you can help me. And that's where the email list comes in handy. In order to do that, you need to have some email marketing automation. And the base of that is going to be creating your email tags. So that's what we're going to talk about today in this video. I'll show you how to organize your tags. I'm going to give you some guidelines and give you some things to think about that might help your email marketing and improve your business because you've got a better communication. Okay, I'm going to use slides for this one, and I know slides are boring, but they do a good job of presenting the information I want. And this technique you can use with any email system you have. I've used it with Fluent CRM. I'm using it with ConvertKit. It works with Aweber. Anything that allows you to add tags, this will work because you create the tags and you can set up the structure that I'm going to show you, or you can modify what I'm going to show you in the way that you can organize your tags. You can have clarity on what they mean and what they do, and you can use them for integrations with other services. So let's go ahead and get started. So I started off with this little comment. This is someone who was in my membership and he was getting started with Fluent CRM, but he made a question down here, like a video going over naming conventions and groupings for tags and automation. So that's kind of what spurred the idea for this video. So what is email marketing tagging? Well, quite simply, it's kind of like when you were a kid and you had toys. And I don't know if girls had the same toys. Growing up as a boy, I got toys like this where we were building things. The whole idea was to spark your creativity and learn how to build systems. So one of the things you learn, even from this toy, is you need a good base. If you take a look at this one, you can see, yeah, he's got his rocket launcher and everybody's excited and looking at the rocket. But without that boring looking base, none of this would work. The same thing is true if you had little wooden blocks like this. If you want to build a castle, well, first you've got to build a base. You've got to have something strong and reliable that you can use to build your system. Tags are the base of email marketing. If you want to do automations, you need tags. You want to organize your folks, you need tags. If you're going to group them together, you can have lists and maybe you could drag and drop everybody individually there and manually, but that's not automation. If you want to do marketing, you're probably going to have lists that are based upon people who have a given tag. So keep in mind, start with tags for your email marketing. So you can use tags to group subscribers based upon their behavior. You can use them to create email funnels. You can target specific subscribers, based upon their interest or their actions, how they've interacted with your system, and you can track the success of your various campaigns. So let's go ahead and talk about some uses for tags. You can trigger an email marketing campaign, and this is probably one of the most common things I do. We'll talk about a start tag a little later on. Often you can do something based upon a tag that triggers the automation to start. So an automation is something that is basically a workflow, and it's waiting for something to tell it to start working. A tag is a great way to do that. For example, I use a shopping cart service, and if somebody puts in their email address, to fill out the form, and they don't necessarily complete it, that triggers an abandoned cart message. And what it does is it can start up by sending over a tag to your email system. That tag can start up an automation, and then you can start sending them emails. Say, hey, did you forget something? And maybe you give them 2 or 3 messages trying to save that sale. Maybe the last one, you give them a coupon or a discount or something like that, just to make something, because otherwise you got nothing if they left that cart. You can segment your email subscribers. I've got folks who are interested in email marketing. I've got folks who are interested in building WordPress sites, and there may be some crossover between them. But when you want to talk specifically about something, it's good to have tags that can help you segment that list. You can also use it to grant access. For example, I have tags that I call access dash, and then the name of whatever resource they're going to get. So for my membership, I'll give them an access tag. That tag integrates from ConvertKit over to my platform, Searchy. So when someone gets added a tag in ConvertKit, it goes ahead and provisions them in Searchy and gives them access to a hub, or maybe access to a course, or access to a membership. And likewise, if I remove that tag in ConvertKit, then it will go over to Searchy and say, remove their access from the hub, remove their access from the course or the membership. So there's different actions you can take based upon a tag with various integrations that you may use. You can track your customers and your email campaigns, and we'll talk about history tags in a bit, but that's something I like to do is like, I want to know the status while they're in a campaign, and then I want to know what they've done after that campaign's finished. So that way I've got a little bit of a history and a profile of their interaction with my email system. All right, so how does it benefit you? Well, like I said, you can track status and history. And in a future video, we're going to go over email marketing automations, and I'll show you how I put all that together. You can increase engagement because if you can tag somebody that can kick off an automation, you might send another email sequence. You might do something to get their interest or find out that they don't want to be notified about something. So for example, when you start off and someone subscribes to you, probably one of the first things you're going to do is give them a little bit of a welcome sequence. There's a couple things going on there. When somebody fills out a form and they get imported into your email system, they probably get assigned a tag to tell them to kick off that welcome automation. You may also want to put a tag in there that says, do not disturb. So that way, when you send off broadcasts, something outside of the sequence that they're in, they won't get those. They will finish up their welcome sequence. And then after that, or just before that is done, you might take away that do not disturb, and you might put in a history tag that shows that they engaged with your welcome sequence. And then you maybe move them on to a sales sequence, or maybe you move them on to your regular nurture sequence. But it's all about increasing engagement. You can also improve your reporting and analytics so you know what's happening based upon the tags that people are assigned. You can take a look quickly and find out what percentage of your audience has a given tag, and that shows have they interacted or engaged with you, and you can find out what's working and what's not. Maybe you send something out, if somebody clicks something that they get a tag, and if not that many people clicked it, you can say, okay, my audience doesn't have much of an interest in that. Those are all things you can do with tags. Email marketing is all about sending the right message to the right person at the right time. That's why segmentation is so important. And that's why tags, as part of building that segmentation, is so important. All right, let's get into the meat of it. Let's talk about the different types of tags. And I want to stress this part. These are guidelines, not rules. I use the structure that I show here, but I've also modified it over time. And I would encourage you to think about it the same way. Find out what works for you and modify it the way you want to. So let's take a look at different types. First one are system tags. These are things that will start or stop automation funnels. Once you use it to start something, first thing you're going to do is remove it. You don't need that tag once you've started it. Status tags, to me, these are temporary tags, and I use them inside of an automation. So as I'm going through that workflow, I'll create and remove different status tags. So it'll tell me what part they're in or what automation they're in. That way I can see very quickly and easily who's interacting with me in a given automation or in a given sequence that was kicked off by an automation. History tags, these are permanent. So when I set a status tag, that's temporary. And let's say they're downloaded an ebook, as a lead magnet. Well, that tag goes away. The history tag stays permanent. And that is kind of like my information and profile of what they've done. Now, to me, history is about interaction, what they've done and steps that they've taken. Profile tags are metadata about the user. Those tell me something. Do they have an interest in a given topic? Is primarily what I use it for. Or are they not interested in something? And that's really helping me know more about my audience and building a relationship with them. So then I can kick off other sequences or other automations. Say, okay, you like email marketing? Well, let me show you something else about email marketing. Here's a tutorial for you. Here's an article that I wrote. You can do that with these various kinds of tags. Product tags. If you're selling products and services, and this could be anything from courses and memberships, or maybe you've got physical or digital products that you sell, then that's metadata about it. So product tag tells you something about somebody who's engaged with or purchased one of your products. Source tags tell you how did they get inside of your business? Did they come through a lead magnet that you have? Did they come through a pop-up or a landing page? Were they part of a Facebook ad campaign? Whatever it is, source tags let you know what's working to get people on your email list. And access tags, I will give someone a tag so they get granted access to my course platform or to my membership. And that way they've got a tag that gives them access to the hub, which is the website where I keep my courses, and then a different tag for each course that I have on the platform. So they could be on the same website, the hub, and only see maybe the free stuff if I only give them hub access. What gives them access to the course is not only information to get into that portal, but then to show a specific course. So I may have multiple courses, but they may not see all of them until they get that access tag. And then when I want to take away that access, for example, I have a membership and somebody decides to leave the membership, then I simply remove that tag in ConvertKit. It talks to Searchy and removes the tag there, and it changes the provisioning so that they no longer have access. All right, let's talk about the format of the tags. Remember what I said, that these are guidelines, not rules. So what I do is I come up with a function, I come up with a purpose, a campaign name, and perhaps a modifier. An example is what we talked about, system tags. So it could be system. The purpose is for a marketing effort. The campaign name is an email form for a free PDF, whatever lead magnet you have. And then its purpose is to start. You could also do this to stop if you have an automation system that needs a tag to stop it, or you need some kind of interaction that tells it to stop, maybe leap to the end. You could change this to maybe just start - email form for free PDF. It doesn't have to have everything in here. This depends on how you want to organize your tags and how you want to use them to sort. So for example, if you want to see how many marketing efforts you have, then that's where the purpose comes in. If you want to see how many tags you have with a given campaign name, that's where this comes in. The function system, again, that's start and stop, but you could just make it start or stop if you want to, and you'll have two different types. And if you look at most of the tag systems on email services, they'll sort these alphabetically. So that way you'd see all of your system tags together. You'd see all of your other type of tags like status tags together. And it's a good way to organize things by using these little prefixes. All right, so status. And again, this could be marketing. It could be fulfillment. It depends on what kind of automation are they going to go through. What is the purpose of the tag? So in this case, I'm saying they've started an automation for a free ebook, but they haven't downloaded it yet. I find this helpful if something in the automation breaks down and they send me an email and say, hey, I never got their ebook. So I can go back and look and say, oh, it has not downloaded yet. They didn't get to the next step. Why? I know where in the automation they broke down. They got at least this far, and then it helps me with my troubleshooting. So status tags, as I said, are only used, in my opinion, inside of an automation. That's their purpose. They're temporary tags. They kind of track the flow through an automation. They also let you know if you click on a tag and you see how many people are in it, then you know how many people are going through a particular automation on your email marketing system. Another example of a status tag. So this time it's fulfillment again, and they have downloaded. So I'm going to remove that has not downloaded. And at the end of the automation, I'm going to remove all of these status tags. But I'm going to add a history tag that they did download it. So if I look and I see someone that says has not downloaded, they don't have a history tag, they didn't get to the part where they actually fulfilled the delivery of that ebook. Give that a thought for a moment, and that's the purpose. Now, do you need fulfillment in there? No, it's up to you. Do you want to organize your tags by marketing or fulfillment or some other purpose? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And if you want to modify this to get rid of that purpose in there, that's fine, so long as it works for you. I mentioned access. So I might give someone access to my membership, which is called Headway Plus. So I would give them this tag, access, and that way all of my access tags are kind of sorted together. I can see what they have access to. Now I know that I need to give them access to the hub, and I need to give them access to a course if that's the case. For the membership, once you get an access to the hub, you got access to everything inside, so I'm not really worried about that. But that's where these things can vary, what you're going to give them to access. If you're giving them a membership where everything is there, then something like this, access, the membership works. If you have a tiered access, where maybe you don't get access to everything, then maybe you want to have different access tags for each tier And then inside of your membership system, you can decide to show them something or not, or segment them there to display information or resources based upon the tier that they're in. And this works in a lot of memberships. It works on various subscription services. You might sign up at a lower rate. You get some resources, you don't get everything. That's what you can do with the membership. All right, so how can you add these tags? The boring way is to manually add them. That means you're going into your email marketing system and you're pulling up a user and you're saying, all right, I'm going to add this tag to you. It's tedious, but sometimes that's what you need to do. You can tag an imported list. An example of this is when I switched from one email marketing system to another. I exported my list from the original system. I imported it to the new one. Now, one of the things I did was I put in a tag that told me for the history, the date that they were imported and from where. And then I may have gone through and imported other tags. Sometimes when you import from one system to another, it'll import all the tags that they had if you export them in your comma separated value list. I wanted to know, when did I import them? How did they get in? That could be the source imported from, previous email marketing system. You can automatically add tags in automation funnels. So we talked about the status tags. You can automatically add a status tag based upon how far they've gotten. You can also automatically remove tags that way based upon some trigger decision. Automations can have like if-then kind of things or yes-no kind of decisions. You may want to change tags based upon what they do or what happens. You may find out that you want something like for a lead magnet download, you want to see, are they already in your system? Do they have a given tag in that automation? And maybe you don't want to add another tag to them. And maybe you don't want to go through the welcome sequence again because they've already been through it. So that's where tags and history tags can come in handy to help you decide what have they done with your system and make certain that you don't repeat it. You can tag subscribers who click a link. If you're watching this, let's say that you're on my email list and I'll send off an email about the new video when it goes out. If you click that link, it's going to let me know that you have an interest in my YouTube channel. Or depending on something else, it might let me know that you have an interest in email marketing or an interest in Cadence blocks or Cadence theme or maybe WordPress development overall. You can build that profile of interests based upon a tag that happens when somebody clicks a link. All right, so let's go over some ideas. You want to engage inactive subscribers. Do they have tags? Do they not have tags? You're going to send them emails and try to get them to click something. And if they don't click anything, they're inactive. After a certain time, then maybe you just go ahead and remove them from your email list. There's no point in keeping, dead weight around. You might want to show targeted product recommendations. If you're an affiliate marketer, this can come in handy. So if you know somebody's interested in WordPress plugins and you found an interesting new WordPress plugin, maybe you want to send that segment of your audience an email about, the product recommendation. And it could be for affiliates or it could be for your own products and services. You may want to offer a loyalty discount. If someone's been with you for a while or you've got a special coming up, maybe the folks who are on your email list get a discount rather than what you sell to somebody who just comes to your website. That's a good way to keep folks engaged on your email list because they say, hey, there's something in this for me. You could also send a survey to new subscribers. When somebody comes in, they're brand new, maybe you give them a tag, maybe it's part of your welcome onboarding sequences. You give them a tag, send the survey to them, and then once that's done, you update their history with the results of that survey, or they've already taken the survey. And we talked about cart abandonment. So this is another good way. Automatically, if you've got a shopping cart service and someone abandons their cart, but they put in their email address, well, that can send a tag over to your email system. And then it can give you a chance to start a little process or a sequence to try and save that sale. And some people do this on purpose. I know my wife does. She'll put something in her shopping cart and leave it there just to wait and see if she gets a discount after a few days. So you can target specific subscribers with relevant articles, offers, and discounts. And that's really helpful to them. They want to have value from your email list. Everybody gets a ton of email. They stay on the list where they perceive that there's some kind of value. Maybe it's information, maybe it's new offers, whatever it may be. You want to show value, and tags are the way that you know who is who and what they're interested in so that you can send something that's going to be interesting and help them engage. Bonus tip on how to create engaging emails: start by telling a story. If you notice on this video, I started talking about, childhood toys, building blocks, how you need a base. Doesn't have to be a long story, doesn't have to be a hero epic story. Just something that kind of relates to what you're going to tell them. And you know what? It almost doesn't even have to relate to it. You just want to engage people, get them interested. And that is best done by telling a story. That's all I've got for you today. I am going to have some more videos coming up on email marketing automation. We'll talk about sequences. We'll talk about ConvertKit. And I've got plenty of videos on Fluent CRM already in the library. And we'll see where that goes. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you again in the next video.